Hello, your faith you have no more. Anyways, Faith No More, are they slop? Is their catalog slop? Is Faith No More slop? We're going to figure out today by looking at 4 things to figure out if Faith No More is slop. First, we have to know what is slop. Second, we have to know how do we detect slop. Third is how much of the catalog is in fact slop. And then fourth is, are they talented regardless? There's a reason people would say otherwise. And then finally, we're going to go and look at, are people going to say that Faith No More are in fact slop or not? So let's take a look. Slop. How do we find that out? We look at the music matrix, silly. We look at energy on the right, and we look at catchiness on the left. 0 to 11, of course, because Spinal Tap reference, of course. And then 0 to 10 through catchiness, right? So energy is pretty easy to figure out. You can sense it. Catchiness, it's a little trickier. But basically, what we're looking at here, you'll see there is the energy line and there's the catchiness cutoff, right? And so if something's greater than a 7 in catchiness, it gets called pop. If it's low energy, below the energy line, but above the catchiness cutoff, it is pop. If it's above the energy line and above the catchiness cutoff, it's called rock, right? Oh my lord, did this thing just forget? What the frick? I gotta adjust my board. No, I'll save that. I'll save that. Let's just see if I can angle that. Down we go. You can on the bottom. Whoa, I love no down. Okay, so if you're not a fan of metal, punk, or indie, and there's all the other low energy musics here, and it's not catchy, it's below the catchiness threshold, you're going to call it slop, right? So if you're a metalhead, especially, I mean, even if it's past a 3, but if it's not metal and you're a metalhead and it's not catchy, you're going to call it slop, right? If you're an indie head or a jazz head and it's here, even if it's bad, you might like it, but everything else that's a different energy level than what you like, you're going to call slop if it's not catchy, right? So that's easy to figure out as energy component. The catchiness component, that's a little harder. The way we detect slop, what is it? Less than 7 catchy. And how do we detect it? So here we're going to look at something called the catchiness index. You want it all, but you can't have it. It's in your hands, but you can't have it. They say, what is it? So, this is it. Do. Sense of security, like buckets slowly. Oh my god. Okay, so we're going to look at, I'm friggin' getting tired here, guys. Predictability is our biggest way, that's a catch-all bucket for figuring out catchiness, right? It doesn't determine everything. It clearly doesn't even determine catchiness, but it's a good way of, we can observe predictability as a pretty good indicator in general of where the catchiness is going to lie, right? So if something's completely corny, like a Joe Bonamassa song, it's probably going to be slop, right? If something's completely incoherent, like a bad Mars Volta song, which is a lot of them, sadly, it's going to be slop as well, right? But if something's like in the money zone, where the predictability wise, where it's between back and black predictability, because I'm back, back, I'm back in black, back in black. Or welcome to the jungle, we have fun and games. Like a little ball, long out that thing. Jungle, welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. They'll bring you to your knees. Or Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't know. I killed a man with a bullet in his head. Pulled the trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun. Anyways, he didn't come for a friggin' recital. But this is what you did to me by making me tired. You didn't do anything to me. I don't know why I'm being so energetic at you. This is my second last video I'm filming for the day. It's getting late. I'm working late because I'm a singer. Anyways, balance to zany doesn't guarantee that you can't. You can still be slop if you're in this zone, right? But now you have a chance of being even better, right? So you can still be slop here, which means no one. This music's for no one. You could be in this range, which is the mid range, where if you're a fan of that genre or a fan of that band, you might get some mileage out of it. So this is the OnlyFans range. And then this is the hit quality range, right? So you have a chance of that too. And here's the smash hit range. Still a low quality, low chance of getting in the smash hit range. Now, hit quality doesn't mean that necessarily this song, became a hit at the time, right? If you take Epic by Faith No More and it didn't pop off and it didn't get radio play and it was released by some unknown band tomorrow, still would be a hit quality song, right? So now we know how to detect slop. We know what slop is. Now we need to look at how much of the catalog is slop. And now this is where I need to make an adjustment because God damn it, I'm getting angry. You don't like me when I'm angry. I'm green, mean, and friggin' upset. I have an anger problem. I am really angry, but I'm talking, so now I'm not angry. I am really angry about... Oh. Not happy about that. Oh my God. I'm pissed. I'm pissed the flig off. Pissed the flig... Yeah, I said it, flig. I'm pissed the flig off. I know, no swearing on the channel. Right? Easy on my mind. Faith No More was in the one-hit wonder category. It does not belong there. Faith No More is probably in the 50-50 category. If anything, it might be in the less than 50-50 category. What this means is the distribution of music for everyone, music for fans, music for no one, right? For only fans, great examples like Motorhead, Slayer, Frank Zappa, a couple hits, a couple duds, but mostly just stuff that the fans are going to dig. Classic catalog, pretty much no duds, stuff everyone's going to like, a little bit of stuff that just fans are going to like. You know, David Bowie has 1 million songs, only like 5 of them are listenable, right? And they're really good, but there's only very little relative to the amount of bad stuff he made. Faith No More is not a one-hit wonder. I got a board of my top 10 songs for Faith No More, and there's 10 of them, and let's see, there's only one song in my top 10 that's not at least a 6 in terms of catchiness, which means they have a substantial amount of good music. I would say it's in between this and this, which probably means this, but maybe a little more lenient on the B side. Probably looks like this, but it's actually higher. So actually probably not a bad idea to put them there. It has that shape of a one-hit wonder, but it's not actually a one-hit wonder. And so that means it's going to be probably controversial when people consider it slop, because if you're talking about, well, if you're a fan, you're like, well, they're not slop, there's good stuff. But on average, are they slop? Then again, no one listens to a whole catalog. You just listen to the albums or the songs you like, right? Now, if it happens to be the whole catalog, it's pretty hard to call someone slop. Oh my God! Look what you've done. Why would this do this to me? After all the years we worked together on set, on location, we shot on location for the entire series. You understand this friggin' post-it board? Oh yeah, can you see all the supplies and things? My name is actually Dexter Morgan. Sexter Morgan if you're a close personal friend. Like Detective LaGuerta. Anyways, Detective LaGuerta, if you happen to be Latina, what Latinos are watching the frickin' Faith No More video? I might as well just go to... What the frig? What the frig? You want me to be angry? What's not happening here? What's not happening, bud? I need to get some tape and tape this friggin' thing together. I spent way too much money on this easel. This is a piece of dog poopy. Doty. It's not the video I wanted to make. I was like, oh, I should just make the video because I wanted to make the video. I told myself I would. And, you know, if I tell myself I'm going to do something, I'm going to friggin' do it. So let's look at the 3 different groups on which the band can be good, bad, vice versa. I love vice versa. Their first record was great. You know, they did with Wisla Wisla. I am in a great mood. Anyways, okay, now, brand. Let's look at brand. No, their brand's Dog Water. Their brand's Dog Water. Because they had a good thing going, and then friggin' Mike Patton got in the band, and he was a good singer, and he made that record, like, their best record, but then he turned it into, like, the Mike Patton show, and they got rid of the guitarist, and then the band just turned into, like, eh. And that annoys me, because I really liked The Real Thing. The songs on that were really good were what I think like best band of all time material. And I'm really upset that that turned into, then it went into like, hey, you know how Mr. Bungle's cool? I'm going to make this just bland and predictable. Turn it into Joe Bonamassa version of the band it could have been. And Mr. Bungle's going to be completely incoherent most of it. And the other stuff is going to be completely bland as well. It's like, how about you mix it in a way that like works? Because you can mix it and have corny stuff and unpredictable stuff, balance it out, and then still you're in the money zone, but still get slop, which is a lot of the Mr. Bungle catalog. I'm just upset because there's talent. That's why. Because if you look here, there's the musicianship. They're going to get a green here, but they're red in brand and they're red in songwriting. They don't get these greens. So they're going to be friggin' controversial. If you just care about musicianship, you're going to say they're great. But that's like for 3, 4, 5 songs, and then you're going to say they're garbage. So they're going to be controversial, and if they're slop or not slop is going to be highly controversial. But if you're going off of me, I got to say in general, do I like the band Faith No More? Yes. Can I prove it to you? Yes, I can prove it to you. How could Connor prove it to you? Let's take a look at the friggin' lickin' dickin' stickin' friggin' thing. Okay, dick's not a swear word because it's Dick Grayson Nightwing, okay? You know, if I wasn't 5'7", 5'6" and 3/4, I could have been Nightwing, you know. Instead I just blessed to be a short king. Latinos hit me up, I'm jacked anyways. Doesn't matter, I'm handsome, who gives a crap? I love you. Not. Anyways, most people think of the top 10 songs and they average them. They think generally how energetic level, how catchiness. They don't think of just the whole catalog on average or just one song. If it's one song, then they say they're a bad artist with one song. But otherwise, which they're not a bad artist with one song. Epic, incredible, midlife crisis. We care a lot, really good. Falling to pieces, it's okay. Catchy though. The Morning After, Woodpeckers from Mars, Easy, though it's a cover. Ashes to Ashes, maybe not as catchy in my heart. General Art of Making Enemies is not really a good song, but I was being nice. From Out of Nowhere, and they pretty much have 9 songs, maybe 8 songs that are like solid good songs that are for everyone, and then the rest is just like for fans, but I don't know who would be listening to that because I'd be the demographic probably to be a fan. So it's probably just people who are indiscriminate who listen to anything that ends up probably in this punk to indie range. Average energy level for these songs are 7. Average catchiness is a 7.7. For me, when I think about Faith No More in general, I'm thinking 7 and I'm thinking 7.7. So I'm thinking rock, pop, punk, that kind of thing. Any of these other genres can be mixed in. When you go across this line, you add. When you go across this line, you also can add optional. When you're predicting what people are going to say, people are going to think, oh, they're kind of punk metal, rock, kind of they're in this range, right? As if you probably plotted all the songs, they're here. And then what I think are the ones that are the catchiest and the highest energy are the ones I think of. So my average puts them around here. But I actually am knowledgeable and listen to the entire catalog. And that's why I am like upset about the band that could have been probably the greatest band of all time, legitimately. And instead we got all those records. You already have 80 side projects. Mike Patton's probably a really nice guy. I don't have a problem with him as a guy. I think a lot of people in the rock scene who's been very prolific have lacked a level of self-awareness that would have been able to give us amazing, amazing, greatest of all time rock records back to back to back to back. And instead they go, what would be the artistic thing, truest to the art? And they go and do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I am a champion for the people and great rock music being made. And that does not necessarily unconsiderate, just on its own, just pursuing that without any consideration for what things go into making this great rock music and how can we actually verify that's great rock music. None of that seems to cross their mind. That doesn't lead to what I want, and which I'm really an advocate for, is my function. What I want to do, my mission, is to help the world have as much good rock music as possible. And that thing, that tendency, if you're a musician watching, don't do that. You can like be artsy, be true to the artist, have that, exercise that muscle. It's good. But you also need to exercise the muscle of the music producer, of the record exec, of the critic, and of the person who doesn't like you as a person and who just likes the product. You need to exercise the muscle of someone who loves you no matter what, someone who only cares about the product as well. You need to exercise a lot of these different things so you can get an unbiased view. You need to learn how to take things out. And okay, so when they do this with movies right now, I'm filming this before the movie Superman's coming out. It's notorious because James Gunn filmed the movie. He probably did it all as much James Gunn style as he wanted, which is great. Then they got to show it to people and they got to see, is it having the desired effect? Is it affecting people the way it should affect them? And if you're one of the few people, I guess this is the thing, is at the time, they didn't think they were one of the few rock bands that potentially would be good, but no one did this. And because everyone was in their own thing of like, I'm going to be the artist and I'm going to chase this whole thing of being the artist and doing drugs and being transgressive. They were more interested in being zany than they were in actually like helping people. And helping people is making really good rock music. At the time, it wasn't as urgent, but now we're in a space where that's not, we don't have time to play around like that. That's not the stakes of the world right now. And so I get a little bit of, a little bit of anger, but that's not their fault, right? But going forward, you need to learn from what they were in the glory times and took it for granted. We need to bring that back, okay? And we have to do it. You have to do it yourself. You have to do it with me. You can hit me up if you want me to listen to your music and give you notes. I'm not going to be like trying to be super critical. Listen to my song "Witch It." Like you might say, "Oh, that's like corny and silly." Like, but I think the guitar tones sound great. You might say the vocals, I don't like how the way they're done. That's fair. That's fair. I want to experiment more with getting the vocals to be undeniable in the way I like to produce my own voice. And maybe I just need to do more takes. Actually, no, I liked how those words. And for that song, it's supposed to be more of a Halloween kind of campy kind of thing. And, but still, too, it doesn't mean you shouldn't figure out how to make it undeniably good. And that's something I really think, I always, if you look at the progression across music, there's stuff I can need to go back and remix, right? And I know that, but that's not the priority right now. The priority is the distribution, because I could spend 80 hours fixing music that no one's going to listen to, or I could spend 80 hours building something that people actually care about. And then once they check out the music, if I spend 80 hours fixing it, then people will actually be like, wow, you fixed it. And that actually helped people. That delivered value. That was actually the thing that was useful to people, instead of being a selfish kind of like, and you need to be selfish to a certain extent. You need to think about what's best for me. But at the end of the day, what ends up being best for you is actually helping people. After you get your basic needs met and you can figure out how to like do music full time to a certain extent, or do YouTube or whatever. And the only way you can do YouTube full time or do one of these things full time is you actually like entertain, you educate, you have something that people like enjoy. You're bringing light into someone's world where they otherwise wouldn't, or you're bringing maybe insight or something. You're bringing something to someone. You're helping people. Okay. And so the only way to be selfish is to also be selfless. And you need to kind of integrate those two and learn it. A lot of people go, oh, it's black and white. It's actually both at the same time. And people go, it's gray. Well, no, it's not. It's black and it's white and some grays. It's all of it. The world's not a friggin' coloring book. But you need to, these are the things. I'm only 22, right? And you're like, oh, you're 22, you're lecturing me. It's like, I do have a really high IQ. They tested it when I was a child. I'm a smart individual. You might say, oh, yada, yada, yada. Honestly, that's fine. You don't have to believe me. Observe things yourself. And actually, that's the thing, too, is you don't ever want to take anything anyone says just 100%. Try things out. Like, if this doesn't make sense to you, good. Figure out why. Figure out where you think, there's flaws in my thinking, and tell me in the comments. I want to know. And you don't need to tell me if you don't want to, right? Like, this is the whole thing. Just be able to look at things, get a perspective on it, but then really think about what's actually a good thing to do, and don't have it in this like, oh, I need to donate to the African children. That's good. That is good. But like, what's something you can actually do? Not just like a passive thing. And then think about, okay, what's good for me? What's good for the world? How do those two line up, right? And how can I make that happen? What am I good at, or what can I get good at that helps me do those two things? I think I'm born to be an entertainer, right? I think that's where my passion, that's where my talents, those are where my energy, I get it from, right? That's where all these things happen, and there's a confluence of like concentric circles that all overlap at entertainment, right? And I just want to make sure I can get to I want to help. Okay, my whole goal is to bring the rock scene and make it lively and to build a thriving rock scene outside of the system of record labels. That whole thing's gone. It's dead. It's not coming back. The comedians have done it using podcasts and touring and like working together. I think for us, we can't just talk on a podcast, because talking on a podcast is how comedians show off their verbal and their playfulness skills. The way we show off our playfulness and our musical vocabulary instead, and we flex those skills in a fun way, is actually by playing together and talking about playing together. And so I'm working on an independent TV show that we're going to do that's kind of like something like that. That'd be very interesting. But I want to launch that and give back and create the rock world that I wish existed when I started my band, like 4 or 5 years ago. And because if that existed, I wouldn't have to spend time, doing stuff that wasn't just making good music and like working on the music itself. Instead, I'm having to work on distribution, monetization, all these things. And so to be able to build a monetization and build a scene and build a way for people to reach an audience to find them, and them to find the ways that they actually like hanging out and like doing stuff, and actually doing stuff that would facilitate the great rock scene. I don't need my band to be the greatest rock band of all time. I just want to be able to have a good rock scene and be able to contribute to that. And if my band is really good, that's great. But I just want rock to be in a good place. That's really what I care about. So this is honestly kind of a cautionary tale of you kind of want to give back, right? People go, oh, it's selfishness, but like it's one-dimensional view of selfishness. I think you know what it really is. It's like right now, short-term selfishness. Like in the moment, making this shitty record is really good for me because the ego thing of being an artist or whatever, which is good, and you need that. But it's not everything. You also need I need food, I need money, I need, I need to give a good show to these people, right? The Hives are a good example of that. You might say you don't like their artist. You think they're a little too low on the artistry. Okay, yeah, but they do understand that other part very well, and I think they have a good level of artistry for sure. For sure, they've got some pizzazz, especially with "Enough Is Enough." They're starting to really like write some really good stuff, and so I'm really excited by that. But yeah, this is where we get ultimately is you kind of need to integrate these two things, and when you look over time, they do kind of become the same thing, where it's white and then black, and then white and then black, and then some gray. That's just a different thing, right? Just another thing. But you need to mix all these things. You need to balance them. You need to do them right. Like if I was like, I need to do all these videos today, or I'm fine not doing the videos. I wouldn't have given this whole thing. I wouldn't give this whole talk. You're like, why is this video so long? Because this is helpful for someone watching this. Maybe when this video comes out, my channel is still, at a couple hundred subscribers. But in maybe 2-3 years, you're watching this video. It's a 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old's video. You're saying, "Oh, Connor, you still look like that. Oh, he's a little bit smaller. I can see." Right? Whatever the things are, right? And you're going to be like, "Oh, okay. I get this. This makes sense. This is why what's happening with the TV show and all these things are happening, and this is why rock is at the place it's at." And there's something to be gained from this, from engaging with this, with thinking like this, with being able to do these things. You don't want to just sit there and have intelligence and then be like, oh, the world sucks. It's like you can focus on what sucks in the world, and you can focus on what's amazing. You can also focus on what you can change in the world, right? And what change you want to see. And to be the change you want to see, it's like, no, identify what changes need to occur, right? And then figure out if you can do those, and then what's a version of those you can achieve, and what's the version of events that you can do that can lead to that, right? It's all of that stuff. It's not just one thing. It's not just zero things either. It's a combination of all these things. So on that note, I got to get to the next video. I got to get going to bed. I don't know. The next one's going to be on Pantera. Am I even going to do it? I don't know. I might do it tomorrow. But anyways, yes, pleasure talking to you. If you're Latina, hit me up.